Emma sat nervously at a small cafe table, clutching her worn leather wallet under the table as though it were a lifeline. Inside were only two things, an old photo of her late mother, and a single crisp $5 bill. That was all she had left until payday. Tonight was supposed to be different. Her best friend had set her up on a blind date, insisting she needed a break from reality. But reality was hard to escape when every sip of water made her wonder if she could afford the tip. The cafe wasn't expensive by most people's standards, but for Emma, it felt like a place meant for another world, people with nice coats, shiny watches, and laughter that didn't carry the weight of bills, rent, or hunger. She smoothed her thrift store dress, hoping it looked good enough. Please let this man be kind, she thought. Please let him not notice that I'm broke. At the next table, a man in a tailored navy suit stirred his coffee slowly. He had the calm, composed air of someone used to making big decisions. Beside him sat a little girl with pigtails, coloring happily on the menu with a blue crayon. The man, Noah, wasn't just any businessman. He was a CEO of a growing company, a single father who had quietly traded boardrooms for bedtime stories when his wife passed away years ago. And now, he found his gaze drifting to the young woman sitting alone. She looked nervous, out of place, her hands fidgeting with the napkin, her eyes scanning the door every few seconds with a flicker of hope. Her date finally arrived. Tall, confident, well-dressed. But within minutes, Noah could see the disappointment written across Emma's face. The man ordered the most expensive items without even asking what she wanted, spoke endlessly about himself, and at one point, even joked about women who couldn't keep up. Emma forced a smile, but her hands tightened around her wallet beneath the table. She knew the truth. She couldn't even afford a shared meal. The $5 bill in her wallet was meant for one coffee and maybe a muffin, nothing more. Noah watched as her date excused himself to take a phone call, leaving Emma staring down at the table, blinking rapidly to hide the tears forming in her eyes. His daughter tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy, why is the lady sad?" she whispered. Noah looked at his little girl, then back at Emma. Something inside him stirred, the familiar ache of recognizing loneliness in someone else. He had felt it himself, once. Quietly, he called the waiter over and slipped his card into the man's hand. "Whatever she orders, whatever her table orders," Noah said softly, "put it on my bill. Don't tell her." When Emma's date returned, he ordered another round of drinks, this time casually suggesting Emma cover her share. Her cheeks flushed red. She hesitated, opened her wallet, and stared down at the lone $5 bill. She couldn't do it. Not tonight. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice breaking. I can't." Her date scoffed loudly. "Unbelievable. Why wow, you even come out if you can't afford a dinner? What a waste of my time." With that, he grabbed his coat and stormed out, leaving Emma sitting there, humiliated, tears threatening to spill. She started to gather her things, ready to leave, when the waiter appeared with a gentle smile. "Ma'am, your bill has already been taken care of. And, there's a dessert coming for you, on the house." Emma froze. "What? No, there must be a mistake." But the waiter only shook his head and walked away. Emma's eyes darted around the cafe, confusion and relief mixing together. That's when she noticed the little girl with pigtails, waving shyly at her from the next table. And the man in the navy suit, giving her a small, reassuring nod. For a moment, their eyes met, and Emma felt seen, not for her empty wallet, but for her dignity, her quiet strength. Noah stood, guiding his daughter by the hand, and walked past Emma's table. He paused just long enough to speak. "You deserve better," he said quietly, his voice warm but steady. "Don't ever let someone make you feel small for what you don't have. The right people, they'll see what you do have." And with that, he left, his daughter skipping beside him. Emma sat frozen, her heart racing. No one had ever stood up for her like that. No one had noticed her, really noticed her, in such a long time. She looked down at the dessert that had been placed before her, something sweet, simple, and unexpected. And for the first time that night, she allowed herself to smile. Weeks later, Emma found herself working late at her part-time job at the library when a familiar little girl ran past the shelves, giggling. And there, right behind her, was the man in the navy suit. Noah smiled when he recognized her. "Looks like we keep crossing paths." And from that night on, something began. Not a fairy tale of riches sweeping away poverty, but a quiet, steady friendship that reminded Emma of her worth, and showed Noah that sometimes, the most extraordinary people are the ones sitting quietly, trying to make $5 last the week. In the end, it wasn't about the money. It was about kindness. A simple act of compassion in a cafe turned strangers into something more, a reminder that love, respect, and humanity are never out of reach, no matter how little or how much you have in your wallet. And Emma never forgot the words that changed her life. "You deserve better."